Welcome to EPG Pathshala. This is the lesson on social accountability and social audit, ensuring people's participation and holding government accountable, which is part of the course on community organization for the subject social work education. I'm Mollishri Vyas, professor in the Center for Community Organization and Development Practice in the School of Social Work at Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. In this lesson, we'll talk about social accountability, what actually social accountability is, and some of the tools of social accountability and why they are important for community organization. Social accountability is a political exercise, as inclusion of the weakest and the poorest is a crucial element, along with invigorating the supply side through incentives and sanctions. And at the heart of the tools of social accountability are mobilized communities, informed citizens, democratic, confrontational means of engagement with the powerful state apparatus, and the need for the public to be part of their own development agenda as active partners rather than as passive beneficiaries. So basically, the community and the active community is really at the heart of the idea of social accountability, and social audit is a tool for social accountability, for facilitating social accountability, and it is social because it is in the hands of the community, and the community has a very key role to play in undertaking social accountability and ensuring in undertaking the social audit and ensuring social accountability. Social accountability and social audit are commonly used, discussed, commonly talked about as agenda, as goals in the present day context in countries such as India. And there have been very concrete initiatives by government to actually facilitate social accountability and social audit. We'll talk about this in relation to community organization in this lesson. So I'll also highlight, so we'll start with social accountability and its form and talk about some measures of social accountability, and then discuss briefly social audit in India. Social accountability is a dialogic process between citizens and any power holding institutions aimed at building participatory democracy, addressing social exclusion, and ensuring effective delivery of services. It refers to a broad range of actions and mechanisms beyond voting that citizens can use to hold the state to account for the delivery of social programs. Okay. Now, why are we talking about social accountability in connection with community organization is something that I would like to explain briefly. That community organization has the goals of social justice, has the goal of better lives, better quality of life, better access to entitlements, rights, services by citizens, by people, and a clear alignment with marginalized sections of the society and a clear alignment with therefore various communities. Now, social accountability as a concept therefore helps to bridge the gap between authorities, between the state, which is supposed to work for the welfare of the citizens, and between the citizens and communities themselves. And in doing so, and through the mechanisms and the tools that it employs, it allows for people to gain in greater control of the development processes. And hence, if community organization is about community welfare, community empowerment, community access to entitlements and services and so on, then social accountability is one of the ways in which this access can be facilitated and the goals of community organization can be achieved. So it is because of this link between the goals of community organization and the idea of social accountability, that we are talking about social accountability and social audit in this lesson. Although we'll only be introducing it, we'll have the details in the e-text and in the readings that are given to you at the end of the e-text. But what I'm aiming to do here is to talk briefly about social accountability and social audit here. So let's look at types of accountability. You can have accountability efforts through formal institutions and institutional checks and balances to curb misuse of power within structures of the state. So within the executive, legislature, judiciary. These accountability efforts are understood as horizontal accountability. And your vertical accountability originates from the state apparatus, and processes of horizontal accountability are inbuilt within the government and structures of the state. This is a UNDP understanding of types of accountability. So if you have understood essentially that social accountability is about holding the state answerable for its welfare measures, for the work that it is doing, holding the state answerable and accountable to the citizens, and developing and utilizing tools and mechanisms through which this can be done. That is at the core of social accountability. Then let's look at what some of the tools of social accountability are, and you will find that the tools that I'm going to briefly discuss now are actually connected to development programs that are being implemented in the country. Wall painting is one of the tools of accountability. Wall paintings are essentially information and implementation details of the programs which are provided to citizens through literally writing on the walls. And this is the closest and simplest means of accountability, and the writing and the location of where the wall paintings actually are placed is close to where citizens reside in the village or the town, and in a language that is easily accessible and comprehensible to them. So details of the program and its implementation, or the status or an update of its implementation, would be written out such that people can read it, rather than going to have to ask for particular details through officials or from officials who would be hesitant or unwilling to give it to them. So this is actually writing on the wall. Wall paintings are used in many schemes and flagship programs in India, including Swachh Bharat Mission, MG-Narega, the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, government schools and others. And so MG-Narega is a good example of where wall painting is used across the country as a means of updating and giving citizens information about the program and its implementation. The second tool is a citizens charter. It's a document which systematically provides information to the citizens on the standard and quality of services and on grievance redressal mechanisms in case the services are not provided on time. So a citizens charter aims to improve the quality of services by publishing standards which users can expect for each service they receive from the government. It's a tool for ensuring that delivery of services to citizens takes place with particular standards of a particular quality and within a certain time frame. So for each service that is provided, how long would it take? Within how many days would you get a birth certificate from your local ward office? So within how many days can you expect to get, within what time would you expect to receive your caste certificate that you may have applied for? So the time frame for all of these is also specified in order to facilitate the access to these documents. The MIS is the Management Information Systems, a system that ensures that all records and information available to the government agency implementing the scheme or the program is accessible to the public through a web portal. And you find, for example, that MG-Narega MIS is one of the biggest online repositories of information and resources, and is available and accessible to the public. So in each state, the data would be up on the language of the state, you know, so people can access it, people can read it, and people can get all details that they require from the online portal, and this is a public access to that MIS. Of course, in a country like India, you would need to look at the fact that a large section of the population does not have access to the internet. A large section of the population is also not literate, not computer literate, and therefore you may need organizations and local community organizers to actually facilitate access to MIS and to interpret it, and then to help people with acting on the information that they have received. Participatory budgeting is a process that enables the public to participate directly in different phases of formulating of budgets, of decision making, and monitoring of the execution of the budget. So budgeting processes and exercise are also those that lend themselves to people's involvement and greater ownership, and can work effectively as a tool for facilitating social accountability. Grievance redressal mechanisms aim to ensure that maximum levels of accountability and transparency are brought into the implementation of public programs. So it's when things don't work in their interest, communities should know who they can go to. They should know that if they do not get redress at the first level, who they should go to next for with their complaint and their grievance. So this information, so there are two levels at which we are talking about this grievance redressal mechanism. One is that people should have information that the mechanism exists and how it will work. And the second is, that mechanism should work in their interest. So both of these are extremely critical in ensuring, greater accountability to the people. So it's important to institutionalize these mechanisms. They should be time bound. So participatory and decentralized mechanisms which empower the citizens to register grievances faced by them in accessing their benefits or entitlements and receive time-bound redressal of the same. So the gender budgeting helps in analyzing and monitoring the expenditure and allocations of the budget from a gender lens. So actually look at how it works for men, women, and other genders. And the attempt is therefore to have a gender-based assessment of budgets and to provide feedback to the government if the needs of various groups are not met or they are met adequately. So these are lenses with which budgets can be analyzed, and the findings can be given to the policymakers to take note of and to act upon. One of the key tools of social accountability, and one that is very common now, and one that is more popular and increasingly being used in contemporary times, is that of social audit. And social audit has gained currency importance, and in India it is also now institutionalized across various states, particularly with regard to MG-Narega. What is social audit? It's a participatory process through which community members monitor the implementation of government programs and projects in their community. It's mostly an outcome of mobilized communities. Awareness of rights and entitlements and determination to be part of the development agenda by the citizens. So this tells you the character of social audit. I mean, it's a tool in the hands of people, but it's systematic, it's organized, it is methodical, and it needs to be methodical to follow a certain system, and it basically represents people's keenness and interest to be part of their own development process, and it also indicates the fact that people are becoming more and more aware of their rights and entitlements. Let's take a quick illustration about MG-Narega, more as an illustration here, that MG-NREGA has provided a legal framework for social audit of the scheme by government functionaries at state, district and block levels, and through village level workers. The social audit for MNREGA, that entire system and that mechanism provides and specifies that the state government will also submit a summary of findings of social audits conducted during the financial year to the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, the CAG. This actually gives a very serious sense of purpose to the entire exercise in various states, because you are formally writing out a report about the social audits, and it's being communicated to an authority who is going to take note of what is happening with the program across different states. So each state is expected to give a report about the social audits and the findings of the social audit to the CAG. Now, as a system and in institutionalizing it, for NREGA it is also mandated that there will be a social audit unit that's set up in each state, which will be responsible for conduct of the social audit in each Gram Panchayat twice a year across the state. So social audit is an examination and assessment of the program or scheme conducted with the active involvement of people, and it's about comparing official records with actual ground realities. That is what the audit is about. It's a powerful tool for social transformation, community participation and government accountability. And Section 17 of MNREGA has actually mandated social audit of all the works executed under MNREGA. So in India you see that for with regard to MNREGA, there's a very substantive initiative by the government to actually institutionalize social audit and bring in greater accountability to the people who are intended to benefit from the program. But how to conduct the social audit is an aspect where people need to be trained, and that is one of the key components of the entire exercise which the social audit units are expected to work on. So social audit will focus on performance of a program in fulfilling its intended objectives, an ethical vision through consultation with a range of stakeholders including social program beneficiaries, the community members, the government officials, and verifying the information obtained with the documents and physical evidence. You know, the key aspect of conducting the social audit is that there is communication with people who have accessed the program or been left out of it. So it's through direct evidence collection and verification that that the entire results and outcome of the program is checked, and this is done by members of the community who are also trained to do this, and it is then put into a formal report which finds its way eventually to the CAG. So that is at a reporting level, but at the ground level you find that the process through which a social audit happens, the public hearings that take place, which are mandated to take place through the Gram Sabha, where the verification of all the findings also takes place, and there is the report of the social audit is finalized at the Gram Sabha, that the public nature of this entire exercise lends for greater transparency and therefore greater accountability as it actually unfolds. So typically in the way systems would work, there would be sections of people who would be left out of information, who would not have an understanding or information about the program, the details of the program, who would maybe misinterpret it because of this lack of information. But through public hearings and such fora, larger sections of the community can come into the fold of knowing about it, having information, and also asking questions about what actually happened with the implementation of the program. And so it really examines and assesses the social impact of specific programs and policies with a potential for wider participation and inclusion of various sections of the community. In India, social audit was the outcome of grassroots struggles for having access to documents related to wages and entitlements of the people, but which were out of their reach. So in a sense, the entire system of social audit that has emerged in the country is an outcome of a process of community organization, community mobilization and organization. And it is the lack of accountability, transparency, accessibility, complicated paperwork and delays that affect social welfare schemes and that have denied rights to the poor and pushed grassroots organizations in the country to demand the right to information. So in ensuring and working towards social accountability, there are various ideas and there are various systems and laws that now are utilized to work towards this social accountability. Your right to information has a very key role to play in gaining information about the actual implementation of various programs and who has had access to certain services, what happened with the departments, with the government departments or implementing agencies. All of these, many of these details and information can be sought through the RTI. So the processes of implementation were plagued by various problems, and social accountability and social audit address some of these in the way they actually emerge. As a background to the emergence of social audit and the idea of social audit and the entire system, one needs to understand the significance of the Right to Information Act 2005, which emerged from a people's movement, Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, and it established the need for the struggle of MKSS led to the Right to Information Act of 2005, which has made access to public documents possible for citizens. Now, with the availability of public documents, the workers and activists publicly scrutinized official records and highlighted the malfunctioning and ineffectiveness in the implementation of social programs during the public hearings and the Jan Sunwais. So there was a background to this model of social audit that existed through the work of sangathans and people's organizations such as this. They established a system for social audit, and this was picked up by various states in India that systematized it, that institutionalized it, that located it within the government in order to engage methodically in social audit of government programs. So through in the way that social audit has emerged in the country, today we are at a juncture where there are some key points that must be made about it. One is that it is being institutionalized across states for programs such as Manrega, and the intention is that capacities should be built among government functionaries and village people at all levels, from state level till the village level, such that they can undertake social audit of various government programs other than Manrega as well. So the reach of social audit needs to also go, and it is proposed to go beyond Manrega in the next few years. The second point here that must be mentioned is that there is therefore an agenda for large scale training and capacity building of all of these functionaries, because the method of social audit and the more importantly the ethical consideration in social audit is something that may not exist in functionaries everywhere. And so there is an initiative by ministry, by the government, to actually reach this to the functionaries that they are training, so that when social audit takes place, it also takes place keeping the issues, the dynamics of the community in mind, and it takes place with a sensitivity to poverty, caste, gender, inequalities, all of these dynamics that actually exist and operate in everyday life at village level. So it's extremely important here that in carrying out and implementing a tool of social accountability such as social audit, there are so many newer tasks and components that actually unfold for government, for educational institutions, for civil society organizations, and for residents, all of whom have a stake in the better implementation of these welfare programs. One of the questions about social accountability and tools of social accountability could be that training and social accountability tools. No, one of the questions that may emerge in such exercises is that do such tools really bring about substantive and lasting change at the ground level? I mean, are they really successful in changing ground realities, or are they still at the level of dealing with records and ensuring that corrective measures are taken? But whatever be that as it may, that is a question. But you find that when information about the implementation of programs is available to public, when the details are verified in public, and when corrective measures are taken against those who have defaulted and engaged in malpractice, then it definitely sends out a message to everybody concerned that there is a way in which development programs must reach people that they are intended for, because unless there is effective use of the resources, of public resources, we will really fail to achieve the objectives that we are aiming to achieve. So in this module, I have introduced the idea of social accountability and some of the tools of social accountability, the significance of social accountability for development programs, and why we are talking about this in the context of community organization. In particular, I have discussed the tool of social audit for social accountability. Of course, this is really a sketchy presentation. It only highlights all of these aspects. You will find the details in the e-text, and the readings at the end of the e-text, the readings at the end of the e-text should really help you to get deeper into this particular topic. Thank you.